There is still more to this amazing snapshot that gives us our first taste of the update Aquatic. So kelp, swimming, bubble columns, and even logs, all in this update. Hey guys, it's Chad. I've already covered the new mobs and the trident in previous videos, but here is everything else that I can think of that is packed into our first snapshot that we've seen from the update Aquatic.
So here we are inside of Minecraft, and the first thing I want to talk about is the amazing bubble columns, and you can get them in two ways: by either putting down these magma blocks, so there are some bubble columns right there, or putting down, and I'm kind of swimming here, soul sand, and you will also get bubble columns. But as you can see from the bubbles, each column does something different. So if I am just swimming around, these magma cubes will pull me down, and the magma blocks, I should say, and soul sand will push me up. Look at that. And they have some sound effects with them too. Like that. Versus... So you get a kind of suck into the bubbles or push out of the bubbles. Deep underwater, they look really cool because the bubbles... I have night vision on just to help me see a little bit better, but the bubbles really do go very, very far up. Another really cool thing is that they will affect boats differently. So if you're in a boat... Whoops, and there we go. Now we're actually in a boat. And you go over some of the soul sand bubbles, which are pushing the bubbles upwards. Your boat will rock around, make a big splashing sound, and it'll kind of push your boat up just a little bit. But if you go over the magma, and here we go, it will rock the boat, but then eventually it will sink your boat, causing you to go underwater and causing the boat to sink. So the bubbles both have various different uses. Also, well, we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but some items will float, and they will not float if they are in the bubbles. They will be brought all the way down, and then they'll float a little bit faster if they are in the bubbles, like so. Next, I want to talk a little bit about swimming. Swimming is totally different, which is super awesome. This is normally what it looks like when you swim around. You know, you just stand up basically in water. But now, if you shift, or not shift, if you sprint, you will switch into a swimming animation, which is super duper awesome. You can also use the normal shift key to go down and space key to rise up, as if you were in creative mode, basically. And I think it looks really, really, really cool. It also will only take up a single block for your character. So I can swim, if I'm just standing here, let me stop swimming, there we go. If I'm just standing right here and use the sprint, I will now be actually underwater. This is a little bit more obvious if I'm in my player's point of view, where if I'm standing right here and I do a thing, now I am underwater, which is really, really, really cool. So you could use that to get, I believe, here, let me just test this out. Okay, so this is our test. We have just a one high gap. If I sprint, oh, no, I am not able to fit underneath it. Darn it, I thought that I might be able to. Aha, but you can fit under 1.5 tall gaps now. So you can still get smaller than you normally are, but you're just a little bit bigger than one block. If I switch into survival, you will notice a little bit of an issue is that normally players will stay right there at the top so that they can breathe and swim at the same time. But if you were to do that, your player kind of hops up out of the water and then goes right back down in order to get more, like, it's like your player actually is like hopping out of the water and then going under. So that is a little bit annoying. I wish that there was kind of a way to stop that there. We got a creeper in the way. And here's kind of what it looks like from the outside, where you're just trying to get a little breath of air. Now then, you've probably seen this out in the ocean here, is this kelp. Kelp is all new. It will only spawn here. Let me switch into creative again. So kelp and seagrass does not spawn in normal rivers, but it does spawn right now in any ocean. And this may change so that it's only specific types of ocean, and it does not spawn in deep ocean. So I guess I shouldn't say any ocean, but just all oceans at the moment it will spawn in, other than deep ocean. And you can harvest this pretty easily just by breaking the base, and it works kind of like chorus fruit in the end, where it breaks all of the stalks above it as well. And it's pretty easy to get. You can also harvest this seagrass using the shears, or of course, at the moment, by getting it from the turtles. Now, I don't know. I feel like a bad host. I can't remember if this was added in a previous snapshot, but now items float. I have a feeling that it was added in a previous snapshot, but they float, and it's really, really cool. You can actually get a little bit of like momentum. So if I throw this into the water, it kind of goes down to hit the bottom, but then it will slowly rise up after its momentum is basically used up. So even though that is a stone slab, it will float here in just a bit. And that means that you can kind of go through and easily pick up all of these items after you have got them all. Where is that slab? Let's see if it's rising up. It will eventually, I swear. Because like if you throw this out, it'll go forward very, very far, and then it will start to rise. I'd be amazed. This stone will rise. There we go. Okay, I'm not exactly sure why it's sitting down there. Will it rise? Rise, my stone. Yes, there it goes. So it does have a little bit of momentum, but then it will rise up as if it is floating up, which is really, really great. Now, kelp and seagrass, one of the things is that the water was going to be updated. That was something that we learned at Minecon Earth. And that it was to accommodate these blocks that are underwater that kind of, like normally, here, let me show you. Say a fence, if you put it underwater, well, it has this really weird kind of texture around it because it's taking up an entire block. So these things would take up an entire block, but as you can see, the water has not been updated to fill in all of this. And you kind of get some really interesting bugs if there's stuff around these. So like right here, you can see that the water texture doesn't show up. I think what's really happening is there is no water in this area, and so I think, yeah, see, I move naturally, and I've seen mobs spawn in this, so it looks like there's some like sort of half step in order to pull this off. So if I fill this area with air, it breaks those blocks, but you can see right there that this is the edge. Well, it looks like it. Something weird is happening here. But I've noticed around that there is some weirdness with this kelp when it comes to water blocks and edges of water blocks. Here is a good example of what I'm talking about. Here is some seagrass, but the water texture around it is like missing, which is really, really interesting. From down here, it doesn't look like anything, but around it, it's like missing. Kelp can be put into a furnace and make dry kelp. It looks kind of burnt to me. And if you're in survival mode, you can eat it and it will restore a half haunch of food. But it seems like you eat it really, really fast. Let me get my food down a bit. So there we go. We have 4 haunches down, and just notice how quickly I eat this kelp. It seems pretty fast to me. Kelp can be made into dry kelp blocks. After you smelt them up into dry kelp, you can make them into blocks. I currently can't, but that could just be a bug that I am having. Looks pretty cool. It looks like a really, really nice, almost like a wallpaper, if you wanted to use that for something. And then also the tops look really interesting. They make that kind of grass breaking block sound. And when you walk over them, it sounds like grass. Another interesting thing is now, whenever you harm a squid, it will send out an ink particle field for you to, be caught in or whatever. I have on night vision right now, so it may look different to you. So here are the new slabs and stairs. We have all of the prismarine slabs and all of the prismarine stairs. some nice new building blocks. Underwater, stairs and slabs will now not have what the fences currently have, which is that look of flowing water around them. They will look just like normal blocks. This is pulled off using an NBT tag called Hacked Water, so you can pull that off yourself by using that tag. Now let's leave the oceans and head back on land for one really cool update, which is these logs. Here we don't need to be in F5. And logs now have a hidden texture inside every single log, and all you need is an axe to get to it. And that is this bad boy. Boop. Just like that. So if you use your axe, and all you have to do, it doesn't have to be an incredible axe, doesn't have to be a diamond axe, it could just be a wooden axe, and you right click, sort of like how you right click with a shovel onto grass, you get these stripped logs. You are stripping the bark off of the logs in order to get these stripped logs. And so there's one for every single type of wood that you can have. Here they are in the creative menu. You got stripped logs, spruce, jungle, all of them. The textures are pretty much the same, just basically what you would expect in terms of shading, except that the jungle log kind of follows the bark, how all the other barks are a little bit more up and down, except for maybe birch, but they're mostly vertical. Well, the jungle is horizontal, so the bark goes a little bit more horizontal. They also have sort of the log texture sort of in the middle, and it kind of has a kind of neat animation, even though it's just switching the textures, but the bark that you see around the edge will go away whenever you strip these logs, which is kind of a cool little thing to see. So you have to strip them, then you have to pick them up, and you can use them as building blocks and also inside of recipes. If there's anything that calls for a log in a recipe, the stripped log will work just the same.
I love this. This may have been like the best snapshot we've ever gotten because there is just so much jam-packed into it. Really, really, really cool to be playing around with this right now. If you guys love it, let me know about how much you love it in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching this episode of OMGcraft. If you like it, please give this video a like, please subscribe and follow the channel wherever you may find it. And thanks so much for watching this episode of OMGcraft. See you next time. Bye.